What if I told you that the person holding you back is the very person you see in the mirror every morning? Carl Jung believed that the side of yourself you avoid, deny, or even fear is actually the key to unlocking the life you've always wanted. Sounds crazy, right? But think about it. While most people waste years trying to hide their flaws and run from discomfort, those who dare to confront their own darkness end up discovering a level of power and freedom that most never taste. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Your so-called weaknesses are really hidden sources of strength, and the only way to stop sabotaging yourself is to do the opposite of what the world expects. Instead of running from your fears, you become the very person you fear the most. Why? Because inside that shadow is a version of you that's authentic, bold, and capable of anything. And let's be honest, nobody ever got anywhere important by playing it safe or pretending to be perfect. Jung's message isn't about self-improvement for the sake of Instagram. It's about radical, lasting change. So, are you ready to challenge every belief you've been taught about yourself? Are you brave enough to discover the potential hiding in your darkness? If you want to stop living on autopilot and finally become the person you were meant to be, then keep reading, because Carl Jung's ideas might just blow your mind and turn your world upside down. Let's start by opening the door to a world most people never dare to enter, the world of the shadow, as revealed by Carl Jung. Every individual, without exception, drags behind them a sort of invisible suitcase, heavy, mysterious, packed with sides of themselves that they rarely admit even exist. Jung's concept of the shadow is all about these secret aspects, our hidden flaws, fears, and desires. It's like owning a cluttered basement. The more you pretend it isn't there, the darker, dustier, and scarier it becomes. But here's the twist: everyone has a shadow. Even those who seem to have it all together are secretly negotiating with their own inner darkness. Carl Jung explained that this shadow isn't just a vague bad vibe. It's a living, breathing part of your personality. Imagine moments when you snap unexpectedly, or feel irrational jealousy, or daydream about breaking rules you'd never dare confess out loud. That's your shadow waving hello. It houses personal weaknesses like insecurity or anger you can't show at work, but also, on a bigger scale, it holds society's dark secrets too. Sometimes, it's not just about you, but about the collective shadow, the ugliness a whole group, community, or nation tries to ignore. And the more these shadows are ignored, the more trouble they cause, showing up in sudden outbursts or collective disasters. Think of a time when you've said or done something you immediately regretted. Maybe you lashed out at a friend or judged someone harshly. That wasn't just a bad mood. According to Carl Jung, it was your shadow breaking loose. By recognizing these moments, you gain a golden opportunity to understand yourself more deeply. The key, though, isn't to run from your shadow, but to turn on the light and get to know it. Because, as we'll see, when you understand this hidden side, you open up the next level of personal growth. And trust me, Carl Jung would agree, this is where the real adventure begins. Carl Jung used to say that self-knowledge isn't about sitting around reading fancy philosophy books all day. It's about rolling up your sleeves and digging into the real, gritty parts of your personality. Integrating the shadow means facing up to your darker sides. But here's where most people get it wrong. The shadow isn't just a collection of flaws. It also hides treasures like creativity, raw courage, and instincts that could make your life richer. When you ignore this shadow, it's like locking away a part of your own strength and brilliance. Let's get practical for a second. Say you always tell yourself, I'm not creative, I'm not brave enough to speak up, I'm not good at dealing with conflict. These are labels your conscious mind gives you, but buried in your shadow are the very instincts you're denying. Carl Jung encouraged people to experiment. For example, if you're scared of public speaking, start with small steps. Talk in meetings, share your thoughts with friends, or even join a group like Toastmasters. Each time you face your shadow, you unlock energy you never knew you had. You become less rigid and more adaptable, a little bit more. The process isn't easy. It's not a one-time eureka moment. It's more like a Herculean task, as Jung described. Honest self-reflection takes guts. It's looking in the mirror and saying, yeah, I get jealous, I feel insecure. Sometimes I want things that aren't good for me. But here's the magic. By owning these truths, you start transforming them. It's like composting your emotional garbage into fertilizer for personal growth. When you reclaim these shadow parts, you become a more interesting, complex, and authentic human being. And as Carl Jung would nudge us to realize, the best is yet to come, especially when we start connecting the dots between our personal shadows and something even larger. Now, let's zoom out from the personal to the collective, because Carl Jung knew that shadows don't just live inside individuals, but inside entire societies. When a group, a country, or even a whole civilization refuses to face its own hidden darkness, trouble brews. History is packed with examples. Wars, oppression, systemic injustices, and mass suffering are all echoes of the collective shadow running wild. Jung pointed to events like the horrors of Nazi Germany to show how a nation, by denying and projecting its shadow, can unleash unimaginable destruction. Facing the collective shadow requires courage and humility. It's not just about saying, "Oh, that was the past, let's move on." Instead, it's about looking honestly at what happened, acknowledging pain, admitting complicity, and refusing to sweep it under the rug. This is why Carl Jung insisted on responsibility. We don't just inherit our ancestors' mistakes, we also inherit the work of healing. For example, communities affected by historical trauma, whether from slavery, genocide, or oppression, must remember, tell their stories, and seek real repair. This goes way beyond posting hashtags or sharing emotional speeches. It's about active participation in the healing process. If you've ever felt powerless to change the world, think of this. Collective healing starts with individuals. You don't need to fix everything overnight. Start by learning the history behind current problems, read books, listen to stories from people with different backgrounds, or get involved in local projects focused on justice and repair. Carl Jung believed that each time one person takes responsibility for their part of the shadow, it has a ripple effect. And this isn't just philosophy, it's practical, everyday action. After all, the journey to heal collective wounds always begins with a single, conscious step, setting the stage for how personal and collective transformation can actually come together. Carl Jung taught that integrating your personal shadow is much more than a private act. It's the bridge that keeps those dark forces from spilling out into the world. When you recognize your own darkness, you make it less likely to unconsciously project it onto others or participate in cycles of harm. The process of self-knowledge becomes an act of social responsibility. It's like shining a flashlight not only into your own basement, but also helping your neighbors do the same. When enough people join this movement, entire societies can change for the better. Authenticity isn't about pretending to be perfect or enlightened. It's about having the guts to say, "Yeah, I have flaws and I'm working on them." It means speaking the truth, even when it's uncomfortable, and encouraging others to do the same. Imagine a community where people openly admit their struggles, share their mistakes, and help each other grow. That's how you break the cycle of shame and silence that keeps shadows in the dark. In practice, this could mean joining support groups, attending community dialogues, or simply having honest conversations with friends and family. Small acts of truth-telling add up over time. Healing the past isn't just about remembering pain, but also about awakening forgotten talents and potential. Carl Jung insisted that, by integrating our shadow, we reclaim parts of ourselves that society desperately needs: creativity, empathy, resilience, and a sense of ethics. The reward isn't just a better life for you, it's a step toward a more conscious and ethical world. When you do this work, you become a living example for others. And as we peel back the layers of the shadow, both personal and collective, a new kind of society starts to emerge. One that knows how to prevent old horrors from repeating and isn't afraid to live in the light. So, after everything you've just learned about Carl Jung and the shadow, let me ask you, how long will you keep running from yourself? Isn't it time to turn and face the darkness, knowing that what you find there might be the very thing you need to change your story for good? If you're truly serious about living authentically, this is the moment to start. Stop hiding behind excuses, stop waiting for the right time, and instead, look at your shadow with curiosity and courage. What have you been avoiding? What truth are you afraid to admit? Imagine what your life could be like if you embraced every part of yourself, even the messy, imperfect pieces. How would your relationships change? What talents or strengths have you buried, just waiting for permission to come to light? You have the power, right now, to break old cycles and inspire others to do the same. Remember, the only way to prevent the horrors of the past, both personal and collective, is to shine a light on what's hidden. Don't underestimate the impact a single act of honesty can have on your own world and everyone around you. So, are you ready to become the person you fear the most and, in doing so, become your truest self? If you're on this journey with me, let's build a community of brave souls together. Drop your thoughts or experiences in the comments. What part of your shadow are you ready to explore? And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on new insights that can truly transform your life. This is just the beginning. Let's keep going together.